probably know all of you or have run across you in the past. We're here to enjoy each other's company and have a few drinks and maybe do some live auctions and take some pictures with these guys over here. They look so cool. Thank you guys. It's like, I think half of the people that are here are in costume, and I couldn't be prouder, really. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for coming in and supporting us. Alexander Wolf, I believe, has graciously put up a photo booth over here. So you can come in, there's some custom backgrounds. Where are you? Right there? Hey, Alex. Thank you so much. I've known Alex for ages, and he does a lot of the photo ops. As a matter of fact, I believe you're doing them this weekend, right? Yes, at Alamo City. And of course, Apple for providing us with the room, who is off doing, show things, that's right. That's what it is. So we're really wanting to kind of spotlight Kathleen this evening because she's our local girl. And I suppose most of you are familiar with Kathleen's story. If you're not, have we got some pictures that we can put up? This is 30 seconds. In 30 seconds, we can tell you that the Wookiee roars. Okay, we'll make it do it again. What? Holy cow, this thing comes out. It's a wireless mic.
You know, looking across there, I've seen less stoners at more conventions than I care to count. But it's great to see everybody here tonight, and thank you guys. I know it's hot and you're sweating like pigs, but someone's someone said even the emperor sweats. Never, not on our watch anyway. Otherwise he would lose. He would lose his arms and maybe his legs. But everything is you looked around and you see the stuff that is going to be in both auctions. Right, so we will have to have a good auctioneer. Who's doing this? Mark, come on, I think you've heard me.
Okay, so Mark is going to come back in a while, but not right now. and do the auctions for us as well. He has a lovely voice, doesn't he? Do we have pictures of Kathleen? Okay. Of course, I can't actually see them. So there's that. So I'm pretty sure this is the first weekend that Julie brought Kathleen, and I believe we were in Houston that weekend. I don't know if there's a local there, Peter Gonzalez, who wasn't sure if he was going to be able to be there, but I'm sure a lot of you know him. And then Corey Parker from Dallas is there, but I believe this show was maybe in Houston, like 2007, 2008, maybe something like that. As you can see, Kathleen's probably 10 and maybe a foot too short. 10 going on 6, yeah. Born with cystic fibrosis, and of course, that's a lot of the patients who have cystic fibrosis, usually they'll have lung transplants that, while they're teenagers. Kathleen was well enough that she went through her teenage years without it, and then got into her early 20s. And this is in Dallas, so she's probably, this is in her teens here. And that's Mark. You've never seen that? There's, yes. Yeah, that's Mark who was there. I pulled that because I wanted him to see it. Okay, keep going. And actually, Matthew, come here. This is where Matthew comes in.
Is it going to be you that cries, or is it going to be me that cries?
I've cried twice since I got here. I doubt I'll get through this without it, but it's okay.
Kaplan was a staple of every Texas convention that I think I went to. Have you guys ever seen the Cupcakes for a Cure at any of these conventions, where you buy a $2 cupcake and you get, all proceeds would go to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation? I've known Kaplan for 8 or 9 years, and we traveled to a lot of these conventions, and she was a bundle of hugs and energy and love, and sometimes she would cough a lot, and then she coughed a lot more, and we started to hear worse and worse stories from a week in the hospital turned into a month in the hospital, turned into the family was told, not it doesn't look good, but pick out a box. And they were told she had 10 days to live. And I can still picture exactly where I was standing, because it was like the Twilight arc of Star Wars convention people, because we all got on phones and we all called everybody else and called everybody and said, what are we going to do about this? Is Carl Gehring out? Where's Carl? Is Carl still floating around? He's hiding. But Carl was completely. Carl was instrumental in coordinating troop events and working to get helmets created and things sent to while Kaplan was in the hospital. And the team was just huge. There were chat rooms that were going 24/7 about people that were trying to figure out what we can do, and we know how to raise money. We know how to get the word out. We can do outreach. But in this case, the reason she was given 10 days to live is because the surgeon said that there was no hope of doing a lung transplant. She was denied and denied and denied. And you think about the technology we have, like, well, why can't they give her a lung transplant? She was just too high risk. There were too many factors, and they kind of an interesting thing. But they search in a spiral from where she's at. They try to find a surgeon that'll take her. Everybody said no, and it was the Mayhews that put out the battle cry. We used some artwork from James Hans, who's drawn away in the background. James, the creator of Wookie the Chew, and who did the artwork that's on everybody's coins. Thank you, James. Incredibly talented guy. And we need to get this out there. We were thinking about sending out mailers to doctors. Like, we were desperate. We were like, how do you reach surgeons? And apparently the answer was really simple, and we were just thinking too hard. An engineer from NASA named Jerry Stokes, I'm not making this up at all. He cold called surgeons. That is the absolute truth of the story, is that he learned about Kaplan's situation from the family, and he had been a friend of the family for a long time, and he would go to the top of the list, and then he would email them or call them, and then he'd go to the next one and email her, I want to talk to you about Kaplan. And it was like a door-to-door evangelist going, I'm here to talk to you. Have you accepted Kaplan into your life as your best friend? And because we had, and it turns out, I guess, that the #1 lung transplant surgeon pretty much in the world, the guy that had done the first living, breathing lung transplant, is then they took the breathing lungs out of one person, still breathing, put them into another person. He had pioneered that technique. I can do this. And it was no, complete unenthusiastic no, we can't, too high risk, too high, sure. And we were kind of, what?
It was within 10 minutes after Jerry contacted this guy and got a hold of his assistant. he had sent to San Antonio for Kathleen's records within 10 minutes and started the process rolling because, I mean, hey, we were on a time limit thing, right?
Right.
Yeah, and Matthew was our person on the ground because he lives here in San Antonio. It's a local story. And so Matthew squeamishly was going to the hospital, you know, and that's true, and half passing out because he can't stand needles. And
Juice box in the wheelchair was my comment.
yeah, and because there were like 40 needles in Kathleen.
To be fair, all right, she was on a device called ECMO, which is really, really interesting. It went into a major artery, and all of her blood was at all times wrapped up in this machine, and the CO2 was being removed from her blood because her lungs couldn't do it anymore, and then it was being put back in. So in my defense, there was a device right there full of blood, and it was right there, and you could see it. Thus, I was half passing out with a juice box in a wheelchair. And this particular picture, I don't know who's steering. Yeah. No. Oh, that is me. Never. I thought that was. This was here. So literally everybody that would come to visit would have to wear these masks, and you might think that this is about bringing germs into her, but people with cystic fibrosis actually have 2 little petri dishes in their chest that are constantly growing terrible, terrible things that they didn't want us to get and carry out. So everybody had to have this full setup in here. What's yeah, and for the entire period that she was going through this process, she could not speak for 3 or 4 months. I mean, it was a very long time, and you're writing down what you can write down. And so this was the very first graphic. Is this the misspelled version? I think we even had typos in the first one that went out. And we started the Life Day for Kathleen campaign. And again, artwork from James Hance and some of these photos of Kathleen and the family. And then we arrived at UCLA on a Tuesday via a military C-130, and if you ever get the chance to fly on that luxury device, don't. We were sitting on, some of my military guys are like, I know exactly what you're talking about. No, we were sitting on handkerchiefs in the corner. The bathroom was a curtain in the back. I think the hole was actually in the plane. If you pee, it just goes out. So we arrived on a Tuesday. They said the first test is going to be on Thursday, but you haven't been here long enough. The test won't be done. There's no way that this can work. And then that Thursday, Dr. Arda Ali, who was the leading lung transplant surgeon at UCLA, he said, the family's been through enough. She's on the list, and he knew that we were huggers, and so he walked his merry ass out of that room because he was like, they're gonna grab me and I gotta go touch people. And he just, she's on the list. And so this is some of the C-130 process. Y'all know the Ecto-1, right? Like the Ghostbusters car, all that stuff on top. That's basically the amount of stuff that she had. All of this is inside the belly of a C-130. She had all of these devices that were keeping her alive. If she had gotten unplugged from these devices, she would have been gone in 40 seconds. And it took 7 doctors, 7 nurses, an entire crew, 3 ambulances worth of people when we got there. And when we got there in LA traffic, nobody would get out of the way of a caravan of 3 ambulances. So if you ever see a caravan of 3 ambulances, move. Simon? And then there's a board that determines, how sick are you? How badly do you need this lung transplant? And she was scored, and the average person gets a score of about 50, and she was scored a 93, which basically meant she was at the top of the list for when lungs became available. And this is, again, the girl that was told that she had 10 days to live. And so she's, again, on the track, you can see that's the letter that she got when it said that this is her score of 93. And within 2 weeks, I think I left around Christmas, and within a week or less than 2 weeks, we got the call that the transplant, it was a non-smoking 30-year-old woman who was the right size because lungs are sized, and so she was tiny. So she's now 84 whole pounds. and that's a lot for her. And the transplant was a success, and something that even on the ground I didn't really understand that the surgery itself is not the hard part, which sounds like what? Like you took lungs out, you put them in somebody else, but the rejection therapy is the real battle once the transplant is completed. So now, following the transplant, they have not been able to return home, and they have to stay close to the UCLA facility. She goes in for testing all the time. She has a bucket of medication that she has to take because these lungs are going, hey, this doesn't look familiar, I'm out, and you know, they're constantly fighting.
Yeah. So Katie, yeah, there's Katie. After the transplant, there's Katie. Yeah. Katie and Ryan were out in Los Angeles, and Kathleen apparently had never been to a hairdresser before. And she got the full Monty, and there she is after she got her hair done with our daughter here. They went out for moral support. The 501st came and escorted Kathleen out of the hospital. Guys, these are the typical things, you know, just another day at the Empire and at the Rebel Legion. Really. Give us another picture. And this is her new Uncle Jerry. There he is. And she
NASA engineer, incredibly sharp guy.
yeah, and he's working on the independent satellite. Whenever they're putting the satellites in orbit, Jerry has to work that day. So he's an actual rocket scientist. So there we go. And the new life. So what does all this have to do with the Peter Mayhew Foundation? The chassis had to have a place to stay when they got there. While the military caught up with the situation and what was going on, there were hotels, there was paperwork, there was, after she was cleared to leave the hospital, there was no microwave food allowed. Everything had to be prepared fresh, nothing could be frozen, you know, and it's Los Angeles, so everything costs twice as much, sometimes 3 times as much. Then when we were able to get them out of the hotel, there were apartment deposits to be put down on the apartment, and general maintenance stuff. And so this is where we came in, was to be able.
When she got on the plane, she didn't have a pair of shoes because she had been living in the hospital bed for so long. So there were little things like that of just facilitating some semblance of a normal life where they were spending their time. They were spending their time living in a hotel room, and so the most basic creature comforts were huge.
Right, and all of those things, you know, on a military salary. And, you know, Dad's active military. And we are hoping that within the month that she's going to get cleared to come and see a Wookiee in San Antonio. Hi, guys! Oh, you look fabulous. You look fabulous, darling. Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. So, our foundation is like, we have a person who drives the droids cross country for shows, because shipping a droid apparently is prohibitively expensive. And coming back from Orlando, we busted an axle on the side of the road that was full of droids. And so Peter took our own money and matched what the foundation gave to get the truck back on the road. We started our endeavors, probably you've all heard of Alvin Johnson, who founded the 501st, and yeah, he's the man. And I assume you also know that his daughter Katie, who is R2KT in our movies, the little pink droid, she's the symbol of Alvin's daughter who died from brain cancer, and she actually was the one who started getting us involved in this, because we would rush home every weekend because Alvin vlogged when Katie was sick, and we took our own money, and when they were Make-A-Wish kids, we saw to it that their family had absolutely everything their heart desired. And this is things that started this down the road, and we've had another heart patient who couldn't stay in their apartment because it had mold. People who are connected with our community to try to be a support when there isn't any, and to try to help keep our community going. And I think it's been a cohesive part of making Star Wars what it is. And I really have talked too much, haven't
I? Since
Now you know why I don't talk. But I'll let her, she's mine. And who else would stand in the bathroom with a brush and a comb, well, brushing out wee hair, and then spraying it with hairspray, which is the only one I could find, but she's great to me.
So the yes. Katie, do you want to say something?
We're gonna give a quick story here. So this is Robin. She personally spent a lot of time with Kathleen. She might retell a little bit more in a bite-sized kind of way. We spent a lot of time, going back and forth. So I don't know if you guys know, but this all happened like around Christmas, and it completely wiped out all of our Christmas. She went down, it was getting really bad. Me and Ryan were thinking about, going down there and doing this farewell, like, let's go powwow with Kathleen and, hang out, drink some milkshakes, because she was underweight. And Mom, of course, pounded the pavement, and I'm not even sure how this whole thing turned around, but it got real bad, and I was about to be her bad weather friend, go down there and just hang out, not talk about the future, and we ended up talking to some of the right people, but it completely obliterated home life. I put up the tree, I bought all the presents. Mom was constantly busy on the phone doing this. It was a huge ordeal, and we did a whole lot of work. And then once we actually got her some hope, it continued to roll downhill. Like, one more day. Let's get Kathleen one more day. We got her the doctor, basically. And he was like, well, she needs to fly to California in order to even see if she can get looked at. And she was in bad shape. So we were like, well, we bought you one more day. And she flew over there, and we were like, yeah, you made it. And, that wasn't a guarantee.
Okay, so my name's Robin, and I'm going to try and cohesively timeline everything. So I met Kat, I moved here 4 years ago. My husband was active duty military. And honestly, when I found out I was coming to San Antonio, I pitched the world's biggest fit. You're taking me to somewhere hot, that's nowhere near water, and it's a city. I'm a country girl, and I was just like, no. In comes Alamo City Comic Con, year one. And I worked helping celebrities. And that's where I met Julianne, and Julianne's like, hey, you're super cool, you'll love my daughter. All right, cool. She's like, pal around, you'll meet her. So I hear all these stories of this little girl who's full of all this joy and love and cupcakes and laugh, and you have to meet her. So I was here for like 6 months, and I finally met Kat, and oh my God, she is literally like this tall on me. And she's everything that everyone said. And then I watched her go downhill. When I first met her, she didn't seem that sick. And then she turned 21 or 22, and it's like, oh wow, you know, this is really starting to impact. So then, now fast forward to last year in October, she had Eva Bronk. So I went to the hospital, stay overnight with her, help her out, cool. That all goes good. It's like, all right, we're good for another 6 months. November, she's in the hospital, she's underweight. I'm like, all right, cool, what do I have to do? I'll bake her some cupcakes with protein powder. Mom's like, all right, cool, we'll get you the recipe, we'll get you her protein powder. And then I don't hear anything. And then I get this phone call on November 26th at 11 o'clock at night. Get here now and say your goodbyes. And I don't cry. Apparently now I do. I blubbered all the way to the hospital, and that from that point on was a blur. My husband would come home from work. I kissed my 5-year-old daughter goodbye. I'm like, hey, I gotta go to the hospital. And it was just like, Kat, just breathe, calm down, you're okay. And I did that every day that I was allowed to go, just to give her parents a break. And then I found out, hey, she's going to LA. And I'm like, oh my God. And they're like, come say your goodbyes. And I'm like, deja vu, but now I'm crying happy tears because she's got a chance. And it was bittersweet for me because I was saying goodbye to her, not knowing if I'd ever see her again, but knowing that this was her best shot. And this was all thanks to the Peter Mayhew Foundation. These people shared and pounded pavement and found people and got the word out and blew up Facebook and blew up social media. And if it wasn't for them, she wouldn't have got that chance. I'll never forget the first phone call that I got from her. So now we are post-transplant. I have not heard her voice. And she goes, my phone rings. And I believe I was with one of my friends doing a show, and I just dropped what I was doing. Hello? Hey, Robin, how are you? I got new lungs. I'm like, what? And that became the catchphrase. I got new lungs. She's walking out of the hospital with the 5 verse, with people. Hi, I got new lungs. Hi, I got new lungs. And it's like, people are just like, should we be calling people bringing white coats? But no, she was back. Something that simple as new lungs brought her back. And then, you know, it's like, cool, she'll come home eventually, I'll get to see her, you know, I'm out of the woods. And I get this phone call. Robin, do you want to come and see me? And I'm like, Kat, I have a 5-year-old, my husband works. Maybe. She's like, figure out the childcare, call me back. So I figured it out, don't know how. Great friends. There's a man back there named Joe Gomez who watched my daughter. If it wasn't for him, it wouldn't happen. Then I'm like, Kat, I don't have a way to get out to LA. Don't worry about it. Got it figured out. In comes Peter and Angie and the Peter Mayhew Foundation again. I'm a farm girl from a little town who's never been in the city other than San Antonio, who's now going out to LA to see her best friend, who literally 2 months ago I said goodbye to for quite possibly the last time. And it was all because of them. And had Peter and Angie and the Peter Mayhew Foundation and Matt Egan and Katie and Ryan and all the members of the 501st who have helped her out, all the members of the Rebel Legion, if it was not for these people, I wouldn't have been able to text her this morning to say, hey, I saw a Castile cosplay. This thing was awesome. Check out the picture. And she's like, I hate you. You're at con right I'm like, you can hate me all you want. So I think everyone needs to give these guys a round of applause. Please, bid for the auction, that's what I'm looking for. Please bid, donate to these causes, help these people out, because these are real people you're touching.
So, we have a quick presentation from some folks from the 501st. However, hold on. You can't keep them down. Ladies and gentlemen, don't fear, we're with the Empire. You can applaud now. As Matt already told you, that I am one of the officers of the 501st Legion. I'm the charity officer, and thank you. Now you all can identify me properly. One thing that Matt didn't mention in his speech up here is that Kathleen is actually a full member of the 501st Legion. She is TX65651. And she is a member of the Central Texas Squad. Now, we in the Imperial military are very, very used to campaigns and battles. But any officer will tell you that it's the soldiers who win the war. And so we are here to honor one particular soldier, Mr. Egan. We would like to officially welcome you as a friend of the 501st Garrison Star, 501st Legion Star Garrison. I wanted to get to see a comic blues, but I thought it'd be a little more special here. It's me this time. It was me last time that cried on stage. No.
We were all betting on ugly cry, by the way, so don't.
It's coming.
Do ugly cry.
The hardest part of going out to UCLA, I'm from LA, it was going home for me, but they told us if it didn't work out, it was a one-way trip. And if so many things had to go right, and they did. And it is thanks to so much of the work that these guys did, and you know, you see Peter and Angie post these pictures of Star Wars stuff. It's not just stuff they put on; they live it every single day. And thank you.